Good morning from Circle C Farm. I am Farmer Nicole, and we are taking a bike ride up the driveway after it has rained. This is Amadeus. He is one of our purebred Maremmas. He's approximately 5 months and 1.5 weeks. So you can see that he's getting pretty big. And then we have our two-year-old-ish. They're about 26 and 27 months, 28 months old Maremmas. And then I'm not sure where Summer is. I think she's way back with the sheep right now, hanging out with them. She hangs out with them the majority of the time. So we're out for a morning run. We've got some things to do. And I wanted to share with you that we've got mixed age groups in our Maremmas. We are situating ourselves so that we have our older, mature, but not super old dogs. Guys, this way. You want to go see the sheep? All right, we're going to go that way then. I take them on a ride every morning, to be quite honest. I do it because it wears them out. Oop, hang on. Minor little detour over the bump. But we have a lot of energy with these dogs. And so I wanted to share this very candidly, as I do with everything with these guys and everything else we do, that it's really, really important that if you've got a pup or puppies that you're working with, and I'm going to say this, that this is what works for us. And it works for a lot of people. And there's some amazing Facebook groups for Maremmas, Livestock Guardian Dog groups. There's training groups for LGDs. Read them, do as much homework as you can, especially if you're new to LGDs, Livestock Guardian Dogs. Really, the breeds do have their own idiosyncrasies. They're rabbit hunting. They have their own idiosyncrasies, but really the biggest thing is you got to understand that these dogs function mentally and physically very different than, hey Summer, than like our German Shepherd or our Schnauzer or, you know, those other breeds. They're just a different breed. So some of you are going to be like, yeah, no kidding, duh. And others are going to be like, oh wow, okay, that's really something I need to think about. Because it really is something you need to think about, because since they are different, I'm going to stop here real quick. We have a brand new baby. And so with them being different, their mindset is different, their disposition is different, how you function with them is different. You bond with them when they're little. Depending upon your setup, depends on whether or not you bring them in the house or you have them outside in the pastures or those types of things. But that's 100% up to your setting. There's lots of guides out there that indicate which ways of doing it is better, pros, cons, things like that. So read all the guides. I am certainly no expert. All I can do is give you my opinion and what's worked for us. And the things that have worked for us have been pretty good. But it's really important. The biggest difference is you've got to understand the breed meaning, or the breeds in general of the LGDs, as opposed to other types of breeds. So again, that being said, the best situation is where you've got mature dogs or super mature, meaning several-year-old dogs that are teaching and training your puppies. That's the perfect scenario, as long as the dog that is teaching good habits, because you definitely don't want to have a dog that teaches bad habits, and you don't want to have a dog that is going to teach them to wander. So that's really important too. Hey sweetheart, let's go over and say hi to Summer. So I'm over here on my bike. Summer, good morning. How are you? You doing all right? We had a lot of rain, didn't we? How are the sheep? They look good. Ooh, you're kind of a mess. Hey! Let me back the camera up. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you? Oh my goodness, you got stuff all over you. There you go. Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, you are. So Summer is 8 going on 9. She is absolutely amazing. And she's super sweet, has an incredible temperament. When we had our previous male, I'm not sure whether it was him or her, but we were not able, when we tried to do some breeding, it was not to success. So my guess is he might have been a little bit old, and since he had not been used as a breeding dog, or there's an issue with her. But that being said, we still love her very much because she's incredible. And the other component to why I wanted to share with you our different dogs and our different personalities in the dogs, excuse me, is, and you can see that the other ones are down at the end of this driveway toward the sheep. But the other thing is, with the 3 females that we have really different personalities in these dogs. And why that's really important to point out is we've been very fortunate in the disposition of our male puppy with Amadeus that he's pretty chill. And that's super important, especially since he's going to be our breeding male, our alpha male, behind Manny, of course, from an alpha standpoint, which we've worked really, really well with, because that way we won't get any challenges later. As he gets older, we don't want any alpha issues. So we've worked really, really hard on that. Not that we've had them in the past, but we do know that certain personalities of males can be easier or more difficult depending upon the disposition of the dog themselves, obviously. But we wanted to make sure that we had a really solid bond between Manny and Amadeus, and then that way he's watching Manny, and some of those guarding things or observational things that Manny does on the property, and he takes him with him and does perimeter checks and things like that. We also wanted to make sure that he, meaning Amadeus, knows his position and his role. And so that's really, really super important. So with the 3 ladies that we have, the 3 female Maremmas, all 3 are not fixed. They are very different in personality. And one of the things that Manny and I talk about regularly is what behaviors we're seeing in the dogs and the puppy, and what we like and what we don't like. And so we're really working hard at making sure that we have good interactions with the dogs. And you can see their tails are wagging, they're happy, they're fluffy, there's no issue here. Now you can see her hair on the back of her neck is coming up a little bit, not just because she's wet, but she's like, she doesn't like to be messed with too much. She's tolerant of the puppy, she's getting used to him. He's out with her a little bit. He's still learning what I will and won't tolerate with him relative to the sheep, and doing a little bit of chasing, but no bite. He's just more trying to play, but he's also realizing that we don't tolerate play with the sheep. So that's a learning experience for him. And as I reflect back on what I was just talking about, one of the big things that we have observed, Manny and I, is the fact that the dogs are teaching him, the females are teaching him all sorts of neat things. And the best description of the word is really things, because, I'm going to back this up, he is picking up all these super great, wonderful, awesome qualities and traits from all 3 of these females. And I cannot tell you how excited I am in the fact that he's picking up all their best traits. Like, we haven't seen too many of the traits we'd like to breed out, or personality traits being replicated. But everything he's learning from them are really, really cool dispositional traits, and the hanging out in the pasture, the walking by the chickens and not really giving a hoot, not caring what's going on other than when he needs to. He came home to us at just 12 weeks, and within a matter of a week, he was very specific about identifying what he needed to bark at and what he didn't need to bark at, what he was learning from them, and all those things, which is really great because, to be quite honest, that's exactly what they're here for. That's exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And for him to pick up the traits of paying attention to certain things, being aware of what our vehicles are in vibration, or our tractors versus a delivery truck that needs to come on to the property, or somebody who's bringing in a truck and trailer where they're bringing an animal for harvesting for us, and things like that. So there's just a lot of really good qualities and traits that he's picking up, and we're super excited about that, because we can't teach those skills. And so those are skills that he's got to learn, and the best place for him to learn that is from the ladies. So we're super pleased about that. Miss Summer, how are you doing? So I hope that this kind of gives you some ideas. Definitely read the guidebooks. There's a couple of different groups on Facebook. But more importantly, learn your dog, get to know the personality of your dog, respect what the dog knows and doesn't know naturally. And if you're looking for a livestock guardian dog, make sure that you're getting one that is coming from a working farm. Make sure that you do as much homework, ask the person who's breeding. I'm going to say this, and it's not intended to be ugly in any way, but the backyard breeders who don't have livestock, the breeders that don't have stock, that their dogs are around, the puppy mills, stay away from those. If we don't encourage those individuals from breeding just for the sake of the dollar, and we actually support and encourage individuals who are breeding for the purpose of what these dogs are bred and genetically designed for, then we're going to be at an advantage. Because you want a solid working dog. You want a dog that's got a disposition, that's really chill on the property during the day or when there's non-guarding activities going on. You don't want something that's been bred just for money. And that's really important. As many of us know, when you go through Facebook and the sanctuaries or the rescues, they're full. And we all have a responsibility to that. So that's just kind of my PSA or my personal opinion, but I want to share that. And I wanted to share with you what we're doing here at Circle C Farm and the fact that we have our young dog out with our mature dogs, and they are all teaching him what he needs to do. So now I got to go deal with that. Alrighty, have a good one.